Got it.
Number 9, if a guy keeps getting turned down sexually, eventually the passion will die. Guys want sex a minimum of a couple times a week, and ideally, they want a woman who doesn't have to be asked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You kind of want it. You want sexy time constantly. Yeah, of course.
So this,
I wouldn't say that, but like,
You wouldn't turn that phrase?
I wouldn't write that in a book. But they was spitting on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
Wait,
absolutely.
so you do agree what of the few times a week?
The
or
whole
more,
thing,
or more being turned down.
You get enough stiff arms, you be like, all right.
Look,
know
if you
what I'm
ask,
saying?
if you get asked, if you ask a friend constantly to hang out, and they say no, eventually you're gonna be like, all right, fuck this friend. I'm not gonna hang out.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm not even gonna ask anymore.
Yeah.
Or even I'd say you're the only person initiating all the time.
Yeah.
How do guys feel about that? Does that bother you, or is it more just the turn down?
Well, no, you know what? That doesn't necessarily bother me as long as this sounds weird, but you get the result, because sometimes it you need to get in the mood, and if me is in the mood, getting you in the mood is what happens. Some people just maybe aren't thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Long day, long week, whatever.
Yeah.
If it's you work a lot, you know what I mean? It's not going to be on your mind necessarily. You got to get reminded sometimes.
Right, because funny, the very first one that was feeling desired, I feel like a lot of times for guys would literally be just the woman initiating sex sometimes.
Right.
Because a lot of relationships I've heard from people, and they're like, oh, yeah, my partner told me, I kind of hate that I always initiate. Or
Yeah.
I've been the one that initiates more. And it starts to get to you a little bit. You're like, am I the only one?
That is
wants
a
to have
perfect
sex
way
here?
to describe you as an initiator.
Thank you, Cheney. The podcast is called Shooters Gotta Shoot, and it's my podcast. And it's called that for a reason.
I mean,
You're like, I can see that. Really? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the fucking show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Shooters Gotta Shoot. I am your host, Eric Aspira, and I have 2 great guests for you guys this week. But before we get to them, as always, if you're already here watching the show on the YouTube page, just hit the subscribe button, all right? We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. You could really help us out, and it's free. You're already here. You're watching the show. Hit the button, all right? Help your girl out. And if you have a little cash and you want to support the show, join our Patreon, which is patreon.com/shootersgottashoot. We have a live show coming up there for Patreons only, because we're almost at 300 members. And if you want a little preview, we got a little preview for you at the very end of the episode. So stay tuned for that, get a little taste, and then pop on over to the Patreon. Patreon.com/shootersgottashoot. So without further ado, hit it, Fonzie. We've got 2 great guests for you guys tonight.
Hey.
You might have seen them on The Tonight Show, Hypebeast and Complex.
Black talk, big t-shirt.
Chris Cheney and Rob Haze, everybody.
They
Clutch.
dropping out the music.
Yeah.
This is professional.
Stylish. Black talk, big t-shirt, Billy.
Welcome to the show. Very, very excited. Clutch move, Fonzie. I appreciate it. That was hot.
Yeah.
All right. The man's on TikTok. He knows what's up. But I'm so excited. You're 2 of my good friends.
Yeah.
Excited to
yeah.
have you guys together for a little man's opinion on the show.
I love it.
So I feel like you both are men in my life that are very much relationship guys.
Now,
Like you and I have had a back and forth about this for years. You just catch me when I have a girl, but I've for years had gaps of. But yes, I am in a 4-year one now.
I feel like anytime we've hung out in our group, you always have a girl.
That's different than a girlfriend.
But you know what it is? Maybe because you're such a nice, sweet guy, you always are just treating them so well and introduce me that I'm like, it's the girlfriend. You know? I just assume.
I appreciate that.
Because most guys, it's just like, don't worry about her. Don't tell her anything. I'm keeping her in the dark. But she's here. You know what I'm saying?
and that's a great place to be in. You know? It really is. You start introducing people, they start getting invested, they start asking about it, puts pressure on
It does.
on the whole
It does.
situations and everything. You know, I wish like you just know your people, I just know my people. but unfortunately you can't exist in that world. I'm a late bloomer. So I didn't have my first girlfriend till I was like 25.
Really?
I was the kid in school that was like, my mission this year, I'm gonna get my first girlfriend, and that's a terrible way to go about it.
Yeah,
Like,
I would agree that it's not good.
Yeah, so no, I I didn't get into a relationship. I, dated people, attempted, tried, but just never made it that far until I was
So
25.
what was like the preventative thing that cut it off before it was a relationship?
Being like too gung ho about it. Being too eager to be in a relationship.
You were Pete Davidson with Kim.
I was like, yeah, but like an 18-year-old with another 18-year-old.
Right.
Like I could have just been running the streets, but instead I was just like getting my heart broken. But you can't get your heart broken before you're in a thing.
Right.
So then it would be me talking to someone. They see, hey, this guy, he's not going anywhere. Like if I get into this, then I'm gonna have to be in this forever. I got my whole, I just got grown. I'm good. Then like me for 3 weeks being devastated. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, let's run up the 808s and heartbreak. Cause you know what I'm saying?
Dude, you were yes. Your 808 love makes so much more sense to me
then
now.
Then I meet another girl, same process, we can't even get exclusive. Can't even get to like, all right.
But do you see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you are a relationship guy. Because you looked at those, you were just like, this is my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Corey Matthews so bad. Like, I'd be heated and punching a wall watching freaking Boy Meets World. Like, man, this man found Topanga so early.
Damn.
Come on, man.
That show, I felt like, made all of us want to be
Oh, I wanted a Topanga so bad.
What sick adults made that show? Nobody's life is like that. Like, they made that show for us kids to watch. We could have just watched some kids, him and Sean, just do stuff. We didn't have to watch him kissing a kid every Friday.
I have a vivid memory of the episode where like Topanga and him were like on a break and they're looking at the Van Gogh or whatever painting that was, and they were asking about like I was like, damn, that's fucked up because she like clearly is into that guy and now is fucking with my man because the hot guy said so. I have a very vivid memory of that show. You're right, that show fucked up.
Man.
That made you be like, what? Be wary of women?
No, it was like, oh, like you can't just be yourself and have like an opinion. That's
okay.
crazy.
All right.
Man, I used to get so mad at Kelly for dating Jeff. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's supposed to be with Zach. And then I got to college and I'm finally like, yo, why was Jeff dating a high schooler? Yo, that's wild. Your man's the manager of the Max. Like, he pulling in crazy dough and he dating Kelly Kapowski. She's not even a junior, bro.
A lot of those when you go back.
That is actually even more realistic. We can make that argument.
Yes.
That actually happens more often than the Corey Topanga situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creepily.
Yeah.
I mean, yep. A lot of, yep.
Not to bring the mood down. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, I fucked up the flow.
We should have played R. Kelly up top.
I'm like, why am I? Yeah, what are we doing? But anyway, both of you currently are with partners that you've been with for almost 4 years, right?
Yeah, 4 years October for me.
Yeah, which, by the way, this is Chris. Speak, Chris.
Oh, hello. Yes,
yeah, this is Chris, and this is Rob.
I'm Rob.
Yeah. If you're not watching, which you should be watching because we're on the YouTube. But anyway, I want to ask this up top. One fun question we always ask everybody on the show. Since we are shooters gotta shoot, we're very pro shooting your shot. I'm curious, can you guys remember a time you had to shoot your shot in a creative way?
Oh.
Or just what your best shot was that you ever took?
Erica, I found you've been there when I've like shot.
I have?
I feel like
maybe.
Me and this kid Julian who you
okay. What was that bar we'd always go to?
Enid.
And it shut down. Yeah, Enid's. That was the spot,
Enid's. It was across the street from Bar Matchless. If anyone knows anything about like the New York comedy scene or whatever, it was like
both have shut down.
That
describes the New York comedy scene very well. Oh, that spot's all the comics would hang out went out of business. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
PBR didn't keep it open.
No, it didn't.
Too bad.
Oh no, man, because that was like a nightclub that. Well, I wouldn't even call it a nightclub because it had like brunch during the day. It was a weird
dance
thing.
Vibe.
Yeah, it was like a brunch spot that at night would play trap music.
Okay.
And
great business model.
Yes.
Yeah. It was. They got all the Julian G's there, you know?
Well, it was weird because the girls that would come weren't looking for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Rob, they might be looking more for you.
See, they'll look at me first glance, and then immediately I'll do something goofy, and they'll look away.
Aesthetically, they were much more looking for you though than they were for me. So I did have to create my own lanes for the shot, but I
You feel like just classic turn down is what you're saying with shooting shots? What would your move be in the bar situation?
Well, you'd have to try everything. You'd be like, "Can I have a dance?" And they'd go, "No," and you go like, "Okay," and then
Sorry. I don't know why I found that so funny.
I mean,
you're like, they say no, then you're like, plan B.
Because I'm telling you, I think you've been there when I'm like,
probably.
Yeah, well, can I have a dance? And then you're like, all right, let me try to catch him in the bathroom line. Because the bathroom line with that place would be crazy. So now you're like forced.
Smart move, actually.
I mean, I had that place down to a pat. Not saying I did anything that great there, but I had all the methods. But I guess the bathroom one is a great example because when you get in a long line at a club bathroom, which club I'm going to say is that's a stretch for this place.
It's just a bar with good music. Yeah.
But the bathroom line, because you have nowhere to go except to either look at your phone or conversate. So trying to get into that conversation was I guess my trick.
Okay.
I would say for me, what works best was probably me turning on my comic brain and observing something. I'm the best if I'm around someone. Maybe I'm in a line to get in. Maybe I'm in a line for the bathroom or something. And somebody does something strange, and I immediately react verbally, get a laugh, and then spark a convo.
Yeah,
because if it doesn't get a reaction, then I'm like, well, this person's not normal either.
Yeah, that's right.
They think whatever just transpired was the usual, and I don't want to deal with this person. But if they could acknowledge, hey, yeah, that was strange, or that was messed up, or that was a little extra along with me, then we're already on the same page.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
But I'm curious of when you were pursuing those girls early on, you said I was coming in too hot and heavy. I was like, were you making any real bold moves back in the day?
I wasn't making bold moves. I probably wasn't bold enough. I was probably shy and already I would always ask for the number way too late. Way too late, instead of just getting the number, getting out of there, moving on, having a good time. I always be like, all right, it's last call, last, 5 minutes left, everybody. Then I'm asking for the number. Yeah, because I was just, I don't know.
So you'd be like, I need the shot clock winding down.
Yeah, I need the shot clock winding down.
You need the pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even in the Tinder days, it would be days and days of me messaging on Tinder before I would get the number. And sometimes people would unmatch me. They'd be like, this guy's never going to ask me for my number. He just wants to hang out on Tinder. I'm out.
Which is interesting in contrast to what you were saying before of you were trying to get in the relationship too early. So you would you slow play it and then immediately try to jump 5 steps.
No, well, part of it, a part of the reason why it took to 25 is just I was so jaded because I turned from the guy who was too eager to the guy that was like, I don't like titles. I don't want to be because I was like, this is the only way I can get women near me, not knowing they're gonna grow up and be tired of doing young people stuff. So I probably goofed up so many potential relationships just off of me thinking that me being me trying to counteract what I was doing as a young man.
But here's the thing. You also learn that from observing the guys that were like that. And then they always the ones to get women. You're like, oh, I need to be kind of a little bit of an asshole. And weirdly, yeah.
A lot of it.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of it. The guys I was observing was doing wild stuff and it was working. It was nuts.
Yeah. I hear stories about dudes getting whatever sexual act done to them in weird places. I'm like, I have no idea how you got that to happen. Literally doesn't even, I can't fathom even beginning to ask how to do that. Never mind, people talk about getting head in cabs. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, and basically you're like, nice men, you're like, oh, that guy definitely crossed a lot of boundaries to get that done. Which is so true, by the way, from a female's perspective. Very, very true.
I just never understood, even the opposite, like getting roadhead. Like, how do you ask you, like, oh, I'm driving, but how about you suck my dick while I drive?
You can't ask for it. If you ask for it, it's never going.
So how do you get it?
You already.
All three of us are like,
You
oh.
already just kind of like it. Just kind of happens.
I've never
Wait, has
had
this happened? Have either of you done this?
Well, okay. One time,
I was like, it sounds like
one time I had a conversation about it, and it didn't happen.
Okay.
And then it was like, all right, I should have, you know what I'm saying, instead of like talking about all the parameters, I should have just, been more in the moment. And then like not too long after that, with a different person, we're just, there's heavy petting going on while driving is happening. And then it's just like a natural progression. And it, I didn't ask for it, but at the same time, I was terrified.
Right.
But it ended up being a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
It is interesting because it's like,
it's risky.
a lot of times for
Yes.
men, I feel like the trick to getting laid in any capacity is not wanting to get laid. But then at the same time, I've heard the female side of stories, and a lot of times it's like, yes, somebody just brings it up, just like throws it out there or asks. But weirdly, in that scenario, a lot of women suddenly feel pressure to do it. So I go the route of like, yeah, just let things naturally progress as it is.
Look, I'll
feels
tell you
sexier.
what, nothing happens for me if I just let it try to happen. I don't. If I just hope, I'm just not happening. It's just everything. Everything with me, if I hope it's not happening at all.
You're like, I can't just
So-
dream it.
Yeah.
When things do happen, though, you don't keep a mental log of like what you did.
Yeah, come on,
My
Cheney.
craziest sexual things are I got lucky, for sure. Like, that's the only way to describe it.
Like, lucky how? Like, they just happened, or
One example.
bring it up.
One example of this, like, because everyone, have you had a threesome before?
I have not.
That's one thing that's always on like a guy's list is like to
Yeah,
have it.
every
You know what I
man.
mean? On the
I
checklist.
talked my way out of one
How did you talk it out?
because I was a teenager.
what?
And like, yeah, I was a teenager. I was at like debate camp. And I didn't even
You
know.
debated your way out of
I didn't know it was about to pop off. Like, I was thinking about this recently. Like, yo. And like things was happening. I was like, yo, I don't know if I'd be able to handle all this. Me being self-deprecating, me think I'm funny, it killed the mood.
Right. Okay.
Killed entirely, you know what I'm saying? And I was worried about getting kicked out of debate camp, which is goofy. I'm not a lawyer now. I'm like, man, I should have got kicked out. I should have
Yeah,
been
dude.
like, yo, let's go outside.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
No, but then I understand the thing of like your parents would know why you got kicked out.
Right. Yeah.
You don't just get kicked out and parents are not notified if a threesome is found out.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna.
They're not
that.
just like, we'll kick you out, but we're not going to tell your mom. Don't worry.
No. So I was
think
in.
me and my dad would have been like,
I would hope your dad would have high five.
I might have, you know what I'm saying? I might have made things a little easier. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like your dad would have been like, sounds like
but
they
my
made a
mom-
solid argument, son.
Yeah. Plus, I would have definitely got spread it around school when we came
Yeah.
back to school. Like, yeah, you know, Rob got
Yeah.
He's out here having threesomes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're Rob.
Yeah. The next semester.
I am Rob.
Yo, the next semester there's like 50 guys sign up for debate. They're like,
Oh,
I think I want to
debate
join the
becomes
debate team.
most popular
Yeah.
extracurricular activity.
Suddenly becomes cool.
No, so I had a threesome in Vegas when I went for my boy's bachelor party, but
on.
Okay.
I didn't pay for it, which was great. I have to make that very clear because that is an option you can pay for at all times.
Yeah.
But
You're
no,
like, this was on game.
Yeah, it was. It just happened to be at a bar, and like these two girls like just chose me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all
Yeah.
it was. Just because I was there, and that's the only other explanation because there's none.
Probably because you weren't trying, honestly.
Did you
Weirdly,
laugh
it's a
at
trick.
all during this? Because I imagine you got a
got a good
very
laugh.
particular laugh.
I mean, so look, I was there with 9 dudes, so there was like crazy shit going on at the same time. But I mean, at the moment I wasn't laughing, and almost immediately after though, like after the girls were like away, I like had to reflect, and yeah, I laughed for like an hour straight. It was just literally insane.
Yeah.
But it's everything like that though. It's just luck. Anything that happens that it's a checklist item or whatever, it's purely luck. Like I have no other way to get it.
I feel like it almost feels better to get it that way. Luck, or just like you said, it just happens.
Yeah.
Because then you also don't feel any like I don't know the exact word, but any kind of like dirtiness or guilt to yourself of you're like, I manipulated that to happen.
Yeah.
Well, there is an interesting thing because I've never felt like accomplished because I never really earned any of it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, the manipulating part, like, you got to be careful with the wording here, I guess. But,
yeah.
But the like
But you know what I
getting
mean.
it, the getting it to happen.
Yeah.
I've never really like had a moment where I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think, you know, like there are times where you have that conversation with yourself of, you know, did I cross the line? Did I manipulate? You know, am I taking advantage? Just even in a like strategy way, not in a like, you know, physical way or
totally.
you know, someone feeling pressured or intoxicated or anything like that, but just purely in a, you know.
Did I read it right?
Did I read it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does feel good when you're like, not only did I read it right, I didn't do anything. You know?
Scot free, baby.
Yeah.
I like that.
Question for you, Rob. Have you ever read like one of those pickup books? Or have you ever like read on how?
Okay.
Oh, like the game? I've read the game because of this podcast.
My friend who I went to college with, he gave like we're talking about the gold one, right? The magician
it's like
guy.
the black with the gold,
Yes,
and it's
yes.
mystery. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Pickup artist, man.
I read like half of it, and I was like, "Oh, this is like not for me." But I don't know because there were points in there I was like, "Oh, okay." There's like, don't approach a girl immediately from behind because that scares them. That's like something that have you ever read anything like that before?
No, I've never read a pickup book. There was this weird man at this internship I had at Turner one time. They gave me a pimping book. And that was crazy.
That's the
'cause it
most
was like,
Atlanta thing
what-
I've ever heard you say,
Yeah.
dude.
And I read that book and I was like, man, this is nuts. Like this has like the type of pointers they give you in that book. I did not know how to apply that to my high school life, but it was crazy.
Can you remember one of the tips or the facts?
Like one of the things was like, yo, when you meet a girl, dog, you eat her out first, and then like this is not Iceberg Slim. Like this was some like it was crazy, but it was like, and then you don't take nothing from her. Now she thinks she needs you. You know what I'm saying? It was like all this like manipulation stuff. That I guess you're supposed to. You know, I was supposed to use this as a metaphor. I don't know how I was walking around where this guy was like, this guy needs some pimping in his life, man. Here, but give me this book when you're done with it. But yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, give it back.
Yeah, I had to give it back. Yeah. I didn't want anybody to find this book. Yeah.
That's hilarious. It's interesting because it's like, I mean, we've gone through plenty of stuff on this pod that like is giving either good advice or bad advice that technically infringes on the line of manipulation. But a lot of times when it's for women, it's like always like putting yourself in the position for things to happen or like to be more approachable. The books that always say things that are like straight up manipulating of like, and then say this and like fuck with their head, we're very like, that's awful and wrong. And also that never works.
Yeah.
It's always the other stuff, but like it's interesting to hear this from you too because I'm like, oh, women, I almost feel like try to think of these like moves and stuff more because we're trained that we also can't make that official first move. So it's always like these hidden first moves to get people's attention is what all these books and stuff try to like teach you and tell you to do.
One I've noticed that women do is they ask you if you want to do something.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty bold first move. What do you mean?
Well, no, just like for even example, like you're in the bodega or something.
Okay.
And my girl does this sometimes. She'll be like, "Do you want a snack?" I'm like, "No, I don't want a snack." She's like, "Are you sure you don't want a snack?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just said no, I don't want a snack."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Do you want a snack?" And she's like, "Yeah."
That's a relationship move for sure. The
no, but I
thing.
feel like it extends out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because if a girl's like asking a guy to do, you know, what yeah. So I feel like there's like. That's a mild version, maybe, but I feel like there's small setups like that.
Oh, there was a viral TikTok I saw, and it was a scenario like that of like, are you hungry? And the guy being like, no. And then the girl asking again, and this guy interrupts, and he's like, listen, men, they want to eat. Yeah. And weirdly, they don't feel comfortable if you're not eating. So in this situation, be a good boyfriend and just be like, yeah, I could eat a little something. It's like all you got to throw in. Like, I could if you're hungry. And so he's like, well, I could. Well, you know, if you are.
I didn't for years pick up on like body language and body positioning, like walking up to a group of girls and like noticing which one has their body kind of positioned to, you know, it
to
to be
you?
natural to talk, for me to like open conversation and stuff, and like how people look at you and different stuff like that. I didn't pick up on any of that growing up. For the longest, there's probably so many missed opportunities where I just didn't even just scope, oh, this person was interested, because I don't know. It was in another world.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of those too. I think I don't know if it's like the creative mind, because I mean, comic being creative, whatever. I think maybe we're just in our head.
But I wasn't even in that area yet either.
No, but
just a guy.
Your brain is there though. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess
I for sure was in my head a lot of the time. Like, I'm a space cadet, so I'm sure like I missed tons of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But there are things that I have noticed that, yeah, there are things that women do to try to, you know, moves that women make that are, you know, counter moves are expected. When counter moves don't take place, then they're pissed off.
Yeah.
There's plenty of times where you're like, oh, why is she upset? You know?
They're having a good conversation.
Red, and you don't even realize, like, oh, because I didn't pick up on the nonverbal thing, or the, you know, yeah.
I mean, better to be on the safe side, but I know what you mean. There's always, we've all had those situations where like you leave and you're like, was there a vibe? Was there not a vibe?
Mm-hmm,
and like, should I have made more of a little move?
Mm-hmm.
But especially if they're people that you kind of know and you will see again, that's always when it's the hardest. You're like, I don't want to misread this, and then shit's weird next time I see you.
Yeah, that's true.
I do like, you know, not that it's happened recently because I've been in a relationship for 4 years, but I've noticed as I've gotten older, like the communication between like hints and like asking is much clearer. Like girls, it's less about like, I feel like girls would try to get you to ask them stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, going back to, are you hungry? Or like, whatever, you know, so like it's instead of like them like hoping we kiss at midnight on New Year's Eve, it's like now I've gotten older and it's like, do you want to hang out New Year's Eve and then make out? And you're like, nice. I have an itinerary. I don't have to worry. Hell yeah, dude. This is sick. Much
if
rather
she's
have
standing
this.
next to me when the ball drops, she wants to kiss me. Pretty clear sign.
So sick. Getting older is much nicer. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I know it's something that I'm like, I don't know if women just get more confidence at that point, or we just run out of patience.
I think it's both.
Because like something that happened to me as getting older was I got so tired of like a guy saying like, we should hang out sometime, or do you want to hang out?
Yeah.
Because I had enough scenarios that I'd show up and go, I don't know if this is a date. I don't know if this is a friend thing. We're weirdly in the vague. And I've like fucked it up of like either I dressed up or I didn't dress up. And then they show up and you're like, I'm going to dress, they're in sweats. You're like, misread the situation.
You know what? Those are harsh contrasts that we're
Yeah, no,
those are very harsh contrasts.
They are. Very much, because you know what? There's nothing like, I hate this in dating of like, in general, like online dating of like, I put on effort of like, this is a first date. I want to make a good impression. I want to look cute. And you show up and the guy is like zero effort whatsoever. And you're just like, come on, man. Come on. Like, we couldn't wear jeans for this?
Oh, yeah.
Like something so basic where it's like, the bar isn't that high. But I've learned that's actually what I say. If someone gives me a hangout or a vague, you know, even just like, oh, we should get a drink sometime, I'll straight up go, oh, do you mean like a date or as friends?
Yeah.
And I make them choose. And I literally, if they stutter or hesitate, I just go, 2 different outfits. It's the exact explanation. And I don't, like, there's no embarrassment. I'm like, yeah, man, am I wearing a dress or not? Like, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. I'll show up in this jacket. I don't fucking know.
And it has to be experience too. Like,
yeah.
It's impatient, yes, but it's also like, all right, so now I've had X amount of times where it's like, it's got to be one of these 2 options. So
yeah. Also, I don't ask that if I don't want it to be a date.
Right.
Okay.
You know, if I'm like,
you wouldn't put the,
I wouldn't throw it out there.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. That makes so much sense.
But right, like I was like, why would I even say the word date if I didn't?
Right.
If I didn't, I'd just be like, yeah, for sure, and I just kind of brush it off, and then I could just dodge it later if I get that message.
I do feel like, as far as dressing up, there's like, the bar is low everywhere. Like, you go to a super fancy restaurant and somebody's got on sweats.
And
like,
Yeezy slides.
like collared shirts is kind of hard to come by in some circles, some places.
Yeah.
You know, so then it becomes a challenge of like, what do I wear on a date? Because I do want to, society-wise, look like I fit in.
Right.
But I also want to like look nice. So do I just wear my nicest t-shirt? You know, or like what?
Yeah.
I
feel
mean,
like
yeah, honestly.
That's
it's
like a whole different combo, man. Just because like fashion has gotten so convoluted, like the like luxury streetwear and just like Old Navy have like become sort of one thing. You know what I mean? Like Balenciaga made Gap shit.
Yeah.
So like you could show up wearing the Gap, and that's like cool.
Yeah.
And then you could also be like Yeezy slides. You could also like Eric Emanuel makes mesh shorts.
Yeah.
And they're like $140.
Yeah, like athleisure wears is in.
Yeah.
Like Kith is popular, and that's literally t-shirts.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
crazy.
an $80 t-shirt, but it's a
So
t-shirt.
that's hard in general. I like you. It's very weird to like actually like think about and consciously try to go. That's why you should just wear whatever you want now. It's probably end up better that way anyway.
But
Yeah, I mean that's what I do, but I feel like I don't know.
put it this way, right? Especially since you're men in relationships. If you ever are like, I want my girl to like dress up, like if you feel like, man, I haven't seen her really dress up in a while, big part of it is where are we going?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
especially with first dates, it's like, that's why I don't like a vague plan. It's like, tell me where I'm going. If I'm going to some dive bar, you can't expect me to be like in heels and a really nice dress. It's like the environment we're going to, first of all, I will feel very out of place. Everyone will be looking at me. And if anything, that gives the impression it's like, oh, that girl thought she was going somewhere nice and
Right.
she's here.
Ooh.
It's a bad look.
You know, like it's just uncomfortable. Granted, some women, they love wearing that all the time. So they will
Yeah.
show up in that wherever they go. But I'm very like, what's the vibe? Like even if you're just doing like a fun date that's like, I don't know, say it's the driving range. Someone suggested that. I'm like, yeah, also not a date I'd wear a dress. We're going to be hitting golf balls. I'm going to be moving. You know, situation. So that's a big tip for relationships. It's always, I've heard so many guys be like, oh, my girl was like looking all hot going out with her friends. And I kind of was like, hey, you don't like dress like that when we hang out. And she's like, well, where do we go?
Yeah, we don't go to those places.
Yeah, take me somewhere a little nice. I would love to put this outfit on for you, but
We don't go to One Oak, you know?
well, you know what I mean. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be crazy, but it's like there's something to date night. It just makes it a little special.
Yeah,
That's true.
Shout out to date night. I do like date night.
It's
What-
weird now that we're like I don't know if you have it, Rob, but I have like not date night, but it's sort of like, all right, we haven't gone out this week. We have to go somewhere.
Do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, something little.
Yeah.
It's fun. Okay, well, since you guys have been in a long relationship, I think this will be a fun little list to go through with you guys.
Okay.
It's from a book. I don't know if you ever heard of this. It's called Why Men Love Bitches. Okay.
Never heard of
All
it.
right.
Never heard of it.
I mean,
Wouldn't type that in my Amazon search.
No, never.
all right, but this book defines bitches. It's just a woman that speaks up for what she wants. It doesn't mean mean. It means be upfront. Don't play those little games. All that stuff. So it does have a lot of gems in this book, specifically because the book was written from doing a bunch of research from men. So there's a section here. It's called the top 15 male views on keeping the romance alive.
Okay.
And when she found this and was interviewing men about romance, literally anything she asked, they were like, you mean sex, right? Like she asked about passion, they were like sex. Romance, sex. Variety, they were like, that means sex, right? So basically these are all sex-based kind of
Right,
tips
right,
and tricks and
right,
whatnot.
All right.
Being two upstanding gentlemen as yourselves that are in long-term relationships, I'm going to see what you guys agree with, disagree with, want to add to, all right?
Let's go.
Okay, so this first one right here, it's just quotes from these men. So first one, a guy needs to always feel that he's desirable to his wife or girlfriend. We need that feedback. True, false?
I'm gonna go with true.
Wait, repeat that again?
A guy needs to always feel that he's desirable to his wife or girlfriend. We need that feedback.
Well, that's interesting because, like, are we talking in the moment or like overall in general? Because if it's like,
It sounds in general.
I can be at my house and like looking schlubby, like I bike everywhere. You know what I mean? If I come over of the Williamsburg Bridge, I'm sweating like shit.
Yeah.
If I walk in, my girl's gonna be like, "Dude, you need to shower."
Okay, right. But it's something like in general, you don't feel like she doesn't want you. I read this as like, I like feeling wanted from my partner, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
like little
yeah.
things.
of course you want to be wanted.
What are some things that do make you feel desirable as men?
This is a weird question.
I don't think it's weird.
To me, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too far into it.
Do you feel like initiating any type of touch? That's like a simple thing.
I mean, there's that. There's compliments. There's how you are described to her friends.
Yes.
Ooh,
You know what?
Described to your friends.
I missed the link. All right, you made the link for me. Yeah, it's definitely like getting a compliment. It's like when you kind of put a little more effort into something. She's like, "Oh, why you look so nice?" You know, that type of thing. Yeah.
All right. How about this? You guys like when we notice your haircuts, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and a good reaction to a haircut.
That's a two-way.
I guess it's
both
just when it seems like they're paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Okay.
when the small notice of things. Yeah. No, absolutely. No, I think Rob nailed it on the head. Like totally.
Especially for you guys when you're in something so long. It's like anything can feel monotonous, I would guess. So like a little change and someone notices.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one here. All right. Next one. Do something different in bed. Anything. As long as it's different than what he's used to. The element of surprise is a turn on. If you always get on top, do it sideways. That's a suggestion.
That's
so
a
basically
bad
doing
one.
something different in bed.
Okay. Like I'm in the middle on that because different isn't always good. You know, like don't switch out the something that gets a great response.
Yes.
For something just for the sake of being different. Also be open to the response. Because you might do something different and it might be too crazy. It might be like, all right, yo, that's special occasion stuff, or you might do something different and it'd be like, hey, you are bombing right now. Like this, hey, all right, it's time for that to stop. So
I think
you gotta be ready for either way.
that topic I feel like is an underappreciated conversation.
Okay. Like you're saying the girl should bring up the idea of doing something different before just springing it.
Yeah, because at some point, I mean, when you're in the first like couple times, say like 5 to 7, 8 times you've had sex with somebody, you're figuring each other out. I mean, like you could still be in a relationship with somebody for like a year and still figure shit out. But if you know things work, you always want to go to that because that's what's working. So in trying to build on that, it's about building. So you should like have a conversation where like maybe after or before, it's like, oh, that's good. Have you thought about this?
Okay. Yeah, it's like keep the base.
Yeah.
Right? It's like almost like we have a 5-point plan and 3 points always stay.
Yeah, exactly.
And 2 points. Yeah. It's like the subs. You can take 2 subs in at a time.
Yes.
You don't do a whole sub of 5.
No, you need some of the team that's been
rocking. You can't sub in 5. That's way too many.
That's crazy.
Way too many.
I don't know if everybody's down with the convo. I think some people don't want the like just super in the weeds conversation about.
Well, I'm not saying during.
No, not even during. Like even like beforehand.
See, this is why consent is so confusing. Because I agree with Rob. Like when you said do some wild shit.
Yeah.
Like say something like choking. It's like that's maybe something you should kind of bring up before just choking.
My girl did ask me. She's like, you don't like hurts me, but I do like the choke. It's like, oh,
okay. Yeah,
so,
that feels like a I need permission situation.
Yeah, and I'm not a choke guy.
Yeah, most men aren't. Yeah.
I don't like doing that. It's kind of weird. Also, it makes it way more complicated on my end because now I'm like, my balance is off.
Now,
yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm saying for me personally, it throws off my balance because like I'm not choking. My left hand is weak. I got to use my right hand, but my right hand is my strong. You know what I mean?
Listen, also choking actually can be dangerous if you don't do it correctly. Yes. So everybody, please, for the love of God, look up how to choke correctly if you want to do it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Continue.
But the other thing is. So I guess to your point, it's like, okay, now that I know she likes choking, there's things that surround choking that maybe she'll like. So you could try those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of build off. But I think a base conversation, whether it's like, it doesn't have to be crazy, but even her suggesting like, you can put your hand here.
Yeah, it's also
I got you. I didn't know you was going there mentally. You know what I'm saying? Where like
I hear you.
Like the safe word is not like a joke. It's like, oh no, this is really for safety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, because also I think it's I've had partners before that I tried kind of being like, oh, is there anything like you want to try or we're not doing that's missing? And I could tell they just were very uncomfortable with the whole conversation. And at the end of the day, it's like it partly didn't work out because like I think sexually compatible wise, we just weren't compatible.
Yes.
I was very like, oh, you're just not comfortable in your own sexuality. And I can't. Like I was trying to kind of bring it out of them. And like at a certain point, it's like, I can't. Like if you can't have a little bit of that convo with me, it's like, all right, man. Like,
Yeah.
especially I'm like, I'm trying to be a great girl here. I'm
Yeah.
being a great girlfriend. I'm like, hey, I just opened the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you got nothing? You got nothing when it comes in this door? All right. I'm like, that's a lie.
You won't even look through?
Yeah, nothing. Like, he'd just be
crazy.
like, no, it's great. I'm like, all right. Anyway, all right, let's go. Next one. Number 3. Late in the evening, you're so exhausted. The daily grind can really take the passion out of a relationship. You have to make the time for each other. Go out for a dinner and get a babysitter if you have to. So that's from a man, which is a little surprising. What do you think?
Have to have time. You have to be able to, assuming that you're in a loving relationship and it's not like a forced one, there has to be a level of empathy that remains constant.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't spend the quality, you can't get the QT to hear what her life is like and she understands yours, then yeah, you're just going to fall apart.
Yeah, I feel like this is one that's said by like a married man that has kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is like, hey, I need a little like one-on-one attention too.
Like that dude makes the bed for sure. You know what I mean?
Because he put in there, get a babysitter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, that's one. Next one, number 4. People use the excuse of money, time, being away from the kids to stop being intimate or romantic. It's really important to keep the passion. So a little similar to the last one, but
Yeah, that's like a compound. Like everything we've sort of said applies to that one. You know?
yeah.
How's money? What's the money thing?
That'd be like hiring the babysitter or like paying for date night, go
yeah.
do something.
I was like, yo, sex is free. What are you talking about?
Like,
Oh, the lights is on. Okay, perfect. You know what I'm saying?
No internet.
Oh, we don't got heat. Yeah, okay. Let's some friction. You know what I mean? Like, what y'all talking about? Okay, I get it. All right. The expense of child care and
Yeah.
Well, also it's even like the going back
out.
to the
Just
going
going
out thing, and it's like the dress, because dressing up is like something that a girl likes to do.
yeah,
Guys like to do it too. It's
Yeah.
very different, but like girls have such a range of levels.
makeup,
Yep.
nails.
Yep. And then you got to go have the dinner that equates to what she's wearing.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's also, what's the joke? It's just like you'll pay for somehow. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, especially the actually, I just had, I think, Dustin Nickerson on, and he works the road a lot, and his wife is home. He has kids, and he said the best advice he ever got was actually from someone in the military, and he was like, "Oh no, he's like, when I get home from base, he's like, it's me and my wife time immediately. He's like, I will catch up with the kids later. Like
Right.
he basically is like, I need to take her off. She needs a break from the kids. Like we need just us two.
Yeah.
And it's very much the saying of like, as the adults and the parents, it's like, I've had many parents explain to their children on the spot. They're like, oh, I've literally told my kids, like, no. Our relationship comes first. Otherwise, there's none of this. There's not this whole thing if us two are not connecting and having
Right.
our thing. So it's almost like being like, yeah, you are important to us and you technically come first in our lives. But at the same time, it's like, I have to make sure your mom's happy and she has to make sure I'm happy.
Your life will be better if we're happy.
Essentially, yeah. It's a simple
yeah.
way of putting it. All right, number 5. Men like a woman to be creative so it doesn't get stale. If she's too predictable because you talk about the relationship all the time, instead of going out and having one, he'll get bored quickly.
Yeah, no, I'm with this.
Yeah.
I'm with this one.
I am too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, is this essentially the always women being like, hey, can we check in? Are we on the same page? Where is this going? Like, what would you what made you think when you heard this of like talk about the relationship all the time?
Cause okay, I don't, man. Hey, listen.
We're not trying to get you in trouble. I'm
Go
just
on,
curious.
Rob.
Hey.
Go on, Rob.
Yeah.
This is your moment.
No. Cause it's like you can only do so much talking, and then it's like, all right, you could say anything. You could say, hey, I'm gonna be the president. You could say anything.
Yeah.
But it's like what you do matters way more than what you say. So we spent hours and hours and hours talking. That's time that we could be doing. You know?
Yeah.
And
I understand on the length of the combo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the creative part, it's like, I much rather someone come up with something, do and do something that sparks experience or memory or something, other than just talking about, are we good
Yeah, the experience is a great example. I completely agree with you because it could be the simplest thing, but if it's a memorable moment, but you're not going to get that with talking. Like, how's your day? Is great to check in, but eventually it's going to be like, all right, your day is now. We're at the point where you and I are talking now.
Yeah,
Well, how do you feel though about someone suggests something to do? You're not into the activity though.
You have to compromise.
Okay.
There has to be a level of like, I'm just pulling from my life is, so my girl likes garbage TV. She likes Real Housewives. She likes that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
She's from theater. I'm not a theater guy. I don't do that stuff. But you have like, that's what makes her happy. So you have like, you don't have to, but if you're, if you love her and you want to make her happy, that you do that.
Okay.
Like,
you mean like go to like a show?
Yeah, exactly. I fucking hate that shit. I'm not a theater guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But you gotta go.
Interesting.
That's her shit.
Okay. All right.
Like if I want her to watch Akira, like I have to go I have to go see Macbeth on Broadway.
All right. Okay. All right.
You know what I
mean? I
like
that that's how you approach it because most people would be like, oh, just let that be your thing and you go do that with somebody else.
Yeah, I thought it would be good to give her the space to do her thing.
Well, she has space though because I'm not watching Real Housewives. Like I'll go watch my anime in my room.
TV is one you can't force your TV show.
Exactly,
on another person.
but that's why it comes down to the experience of like doing the thing that you know what I mean. Like you can do your thing static at the crib. Like if we're gonna go do the thing though, I'll definitely meet you halfway.
Or my question would be like, okay, instead of going to see the Broadway play, would you rather have her come home and you have to hear about the Broadway play for an hour?
I've had this.
Which is worse?
I'd rather go.
I would think the same thing.
Okay, so
I'd rather be like, I don't want the recap. I'd rather just go see
the recap is fine. I'm very happy to hear the recap, but at that point, I'm like, oh, if you spent the whole time telling me, I could have just went.
Yes.
When you go, are you like enjoying it, or are you like, yo, I'm about to murder this on the way back? Like they better be on point. I better be moved, or else, because I got notes.
I mean, like if you know you're not gonna like it, you have to like accept that before you go.
Okay.
And then lower your expectations so you're not white knuckling the whole time.
I mean, true.
You know?
Yeah. I've been like a chaperone to some cousins going to concerts because the mom didn't want to go, and she's like,
"What a
will
hilarious
you take
job to imagine you're doing."
Listen, here's the thing. Though.
I can see that. I can see you being a fun chaperone.
Right. And here's the thing. It'd be 50-50 if some concerts would be like, oh, I absolutely want to see that. And other ones I'm like, but it's like, well, the ticket's free. Right. And I'd still go, and I like live music enough that I'm like, you know what? Still had a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some parts I like, some parts I was like, we're not going to tell your mom about this. You know what I mean? All right. Next one here. Number 6. Recently, my wife and I started leaving the kids with family once a month, and we go away for a Friday night or Saturday night. It keeps the romance alive. It's the adult conversion. It's the adult conversation one-on-one.
What? So is that date night, or are they saying like overnight somewhere? Like
to me, I'm getting the go away. Sounds like it's a full night.
Yeah.
Especially leaving with family for the night.
Yeah.
So interestingly, we were having a little conversation about hotel sex or you being on vacation with your girl. Very different than being at home.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Before off mic, we started talking about that. Yeah, I think it's good because that sort of plays into some of the other things we were talking about, like the trying new things and like. Yeah, it definitely like lends itself to like be more open in the situation than you just being in the crib, and because you're back to the formula.
Yeah, a new environment.
New environment, you're like, oh, this is new. Trying what else?
Yeah,
is
new environment. So like you go to a new town, hotel.
Yeah,
2 new things.
Yes,
pretty nice.
Plus, both of you have something to look forward to.
That's right.
Very
so
true.
now, okay, the Friday is the destination, date or whatever. Now, you are mentally preparing yourself. She's mentally preparing herself. And then when you guys get there, it brings some of that fun back.
Yes.
Like when you were dating, you have that uncertainty of like, all right, if I don't bring it this time, there's not going to be a next time.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. One of the things I've noticed that we always do look forward to is travel. I'm going to Puerto Rico next month.
Okay.
Oh, we're going
You
to experiment.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, come back. I want the report. No, tell me everything. No. All right, next one, number 7. It's easy to say we can't afford to eat out or we can't afford to go away for the weekend. The bills may be racking up, or you feel like you should spend the money on the kids, but you really can't afford to give up the romantic things or your sex life. It's also very important.
How much does this book cost? Like, how they just gonna make assumptions on what you can afford and what you can't afford? This book got to be like what, $15.99?
You get it on Amazon.
I think it's like $7.
$7 paperback. Don't be in my finances if you paperback.
Oh, that's so good.
I was gonna say the go away for the weekend is a higher expense than the other things, but
I mean, what, you can't save?
yeah, that's what I think it's saying. It's saying prioritize it over some other things. Not like I don't know, something, not like feeding your kids, but but kind of like you're more likely to spoil your kids than you are your partner, as I think what this was trying to get at.
Yes.
Like you're often easily to cave to saying yes to them to make your kids happy because you're like, I don't want to hear them crying, I don't want to hear them whining. But it's like, but at the end of the day, if you're neglecting stuff for your partner, I'm like, that would annoy me a little bit.
Yeah.
I go with that one. That one's like, still manage your money.
Yeah, you have to. But you got to make sure there's like a rainy day fund for you and her. Mm-hmm. Or you and him.
Okay. All right.
You and they.
Her and her.
Also, I guess make it a priority. So, like there's other things that you do spend your money on. Like even in my brokest days, the stuff I cared about the most, I'd find a way to spend money on it. So it's just like, if I make that my partner, then, I might have less to worry about,
And less Supreme shirts.
Yeah.
Valid point. Okay, number 8 is basically one we've heard before, so I'll go to number 9. Number 9, if a guy keeps getting turned down sexually, eventually the passion will die. Guys want sex a minimum of a couple times a week, and ideally, they want a woman who doesn't have to be asked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You kind of want it. You want sexy time constantly. Yeah, of course.
So
I wouldn't say that, but like,
you wouldn't I
wouldn't write that in a book. They was spitting on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
wait,
absolutely.
so you do agree of the few times a week,
the whole thing,
or more being turned down?
You get enough stiff arms, you be like, all right.
Look, if you ask a friend constantly to hang out, and they say no, eventually you're gonna be like, all right, fuck this friend. I'm not gonna hang out.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm not even gonna ask anymore.
Yeah.
Or even I'd say you're the only person initiating all the time.
Yeah.
How do guys feel about that? Does that bother you, or is it more just the turn down?
Well, no, you know what? That doesn't necessarily bother me as long as this sounds weird, but you get the result. Because sometimes you need to get in the mood. Mm-hmm. And if me is in the mood, getting you in the mood is what happens. Some people just maybe aren't thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Long day, long week, whatever.
Yeah.
If it's like you work a lot, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be on your mind necessarily. You got to get reminded sometimes.
Right. Because funny, the very first one that was feeling desired, I feel like a lot of times for guys would literally be just the woman initiating sex sometimes.
Right.
Because a lot of relationships I've heard from people and they're like, oh yeah, my partner told me like, I kind of hate that I always initiate. Or I've been the one that initiates more. And it starts to get to you a little bit. You're like, am I the only one?
That is a perfect way to describe you as an initiator.
Thank you, Cheney. The podcast is called Shooter's Gotta Shoot. And it's my podcast. And it's called that for a reason.
I mean...
You're like, I can see that. Really? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the fucking show.
I think like, okay, if one person initiates and it's successful and the other person initiates and it's not successful, then a problem begins to start. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it does,
Oh, it's just when you want.
Yeah, because then that feels
point.
like a rejection.
Yes.
Well, it is, but it is. Because at the end of the day, it is a rejection.
Yeah. So then that's back to step one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Oh, funny. This is literally the next one, number 10. Just once, I would like a woman to take my hand and lead me to the bedroom. Guys always have to be the aggressors. We always have to do the work to get the woman in the mood. Sometimes guys don't want to have to work that hard.
Yeah, that's yes.
Yeah, right? If you always feel like I really got to work, Even if it is you initiating, it's that thing of I'm kind of tired.
If you're pulling teeth, it's not hot anymore.
No. Yeah.
I get that a lot. I get led to the bedroom a lot.
Hell yeah,
Normally
Rob.
because
Talk your shit, Rob.
the bed's not made, and it's like look at this. Look what you did. You know, like yeah, the hamper like fell over or something. You know, it's like yo, what happened in here? Why is there a wet towel on the floor? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no, I'm constantly getting led into the bedroom to look at something. So, yeah.
You're getting tricked?
Mhm.
You're like, oh, we going to chores, baby.
So funny. That's happened to me a lot because I just moved in with my girl, but I moved into her place. So like the market's so crazy right now, like it just ended up being easier that I moved in with her. So she had 2 roommates. They moved out. It's a very small 3-bedroom.
Okay.
So I moved into her and we're splitting it. We each get an office, but like the system is already in place for the whole apartment. So now I'm just constantly getting shit wrong.
Yeah.
She's like, this is not where the glasses go. I'm like, I don't.
See, this is the problem about if you move into someone's space. It won't feel 100% your space.
Yeah.
However, I feel like you guys are going to make it work. It's fine.
I mean, me and my girlfriend, we moved into a space together, and I still don't know where stuff goes. You know, like
How long
I
you been
swear
living
I had a equal vote on where stuff goes, but it's still, where I think it should go is wrong. Yeah.
How long you been in the crib with her?
A year.
Yeah.
A year. Okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. I'm a month, but yeah, I have a feeling we'll be in the same boat, Rob.
You're not in charge. You're not in charge
Maybe-
of facilitating
Yeah.
stuff in the kitchen.
Maybe next time you're in trouble, you could be like, baby, I was being spontaneous. I spontaneously
I
put this
mixed it
cup
up.
in the wrong place.
Yo, the George Foreman grill, I don't know where it is either. Let's find it. Yeah.
Okay. This next one is basically the same thing. It says, I like a woman who takes the initiative sexually from time to time. Maybe not the first time, but definitely when you are in a relationship. It makes him feel like you want him more. True, false?
Yeah, true.
True. All right.
True, yeah.
All right.
For the most part, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, how about this?
Ooh.
Number 12. I think it keeps the romance if you have time apart, even when you're living together. It is important to be able to do stuff alone and not have to not have her give you a hard time about it. When I go fishing, I find that I really miss my wife, and that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Okay. I like that. I like that dude trying to carve out, some time for fishing and whatnot. It's hard when you do stand up because you're spending so much time and you're not having fun time. They assume you just, it's all giggles and laughs and jokes.
Yes.
Sometimes it'll be stress and, all kind of just random situations and, crowds and people and all kind of stuff. But, so it's kind of tough carving out that time when you spend so much time away from home anyway,
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I might add to this. There's also the thing of like, if you're saying you're going out to do whatever, whether it's work for stand-up, whether it's like going out with your boys, is it annoying and nagging when a woman's being all like, well, what time are you coming home though? And what time this? How long are you going to be gone?
I forget what the question was before. Oh, the date, the plan.
Yeah.
Awareness is like super important to some people, not even just women.
But do you find that annoying, the kind of like, it almost feels like you don't fully have the freedom, like almost this like, but when you're going to be home?
No, because it's a question.
I'd much rather you be like, what time you coming home than what time do you have to leave? I'd much rather you want me to be back at a certain time versus, or me giving you a realistic amount of time of how long I'll be gone versus you trying to spend every second with me till I get out the door at the last possible second. Like, because
I'm with that.
Sometimes I like to get places early, get my mind right,
Yeah.
like do that. And now you're encroaching on, my time. I don't like that. So I'd much rather it be like, what time you coming home than what time you gotta go.
Or it's even like preparing before you leave the house, no matter what it is, for anything. It's like, I don't want to have the convo right now with you. I'm getting my head right for whatever I'm going to go about to do.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Or also, especially when you're going to go out and be social, sometimes I'm like, I need to be antisocial for an hour before I go be social.
Yeah. I think it really just is because the whole thing throughout all these questions is just purely communication. If you're just very clear with your intent, then they have to either accept it or that you have the conversation about her accepting it or not. But either way, like, it's all progress.
Yeah, some of these people just need to talk to their people. Maybe their plan is to slide that book across the table and just be like, look at this list.
It was only $7. It's paperback. I could afford it.
All right. Okay. We only have like a couple more. All right. Number 13. Sometimes a woman can make a guy feel important by asking questions or expressing an interest in what he likes. They can try something new together that they wouldn't normally do. I'd suggest planning a weekend away with him that you can both look forward to. So let's go the first part of this, because the other part's kind of repeated. So basically expressing interest in something that you like. Do you find that to be valuable in someone that you're dating?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's fun to put people on stuff.
Yes. Yes.
You know, it's fun to like, you know, they entry into, you know, a whole thing is through you and together. And it's fun to get put on at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I have, I can admit, like, I made a Macbeth reference earlier, but my girl, that's like one of her favorite plays. And she's described it to me a lot. There's a movie that we're planning to watch, and there's like a play that she wants to see. So I was like, all right, let's watch the movie, then we'll go see the play. But now I'm kind of like hype on Macbeth. I'm like, oh, shit, this is Big Willie Shakes?
Okay.
I'll go watch some Big Willie Shakes,
Yeah,
you know? Yeah, I'm like into it. Plus, I mean, Rob and I are like of a street clothing interest, right?
Yeah.
Putting my girl in some Nikes that she wouldn't normally wear, and her going like, "Oh, this is nice." It's like, hell yeah.
Okay, all right.
Hell yeah,
I
dude.
like that. That's
Yeah.
fun. Okay, how about this? The weekends can be filled with a lot of busy work, shuttling the kids around, doing housework, random errands, etc. I think it could help keep the romance to do some of the mundane things apart from one another. Sometimes in the morning, I can take the kids while she does the chores, etc., kind of flip-flop. I didn't read the rest. It's long.
Yeah, split
What do you
the
think
task.
about that?
Yeah.
Like, basically, is it? I assume this means it's annoying when it's like, we need to go to this store.
Yes. Yes.
It's like, do we really?
No, we don't.
No.
I don't need you to do the dishes next to me. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Like, if
I
you
feel
want to
that.
sweep the floor in the same room, like, if you want to sweep the kitchen while I do the dishes, absolutely. But we don't need to be both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dang, you gonna Cinderella her like that?
I mean, any part of that
Sweep the
scenario
floor.
would have been if I'm sweeping, then she's doing the dishes. It's like,
Yeah. I see what you mean, because it's also almost like, I feel like it's
Trying to
almost
get
what
me.
you said about the like about to leave. Like, you're getting like, you're trying to squeeze time together in every second. And I think that's the same thing. It's kind of like, hey, I just want to get these chores done. This isn't an activity that I want it to be, oh, we can hang and talk while we do the chores. It's
Yeah.
like, I want the chores done.
Yeah, we can hang after.
Yeah. You're like, this is music time.
Yeah.
Let's just throw on some tunes,
Yeah.
hang out. You live with your girl too, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, when we go to the store, it's cool. Like, we kind of make a routine out of it, and we like do our shopping on Sunday.
That could also be
mornings.
quality time.
Like
But-
grocery store, we're saying?
Yeah,
I'm
That
assuming?
could, yeah.
Okay.
But
But
if it's like
if
agreed
we-
upon,
Yeah.
but if we miss it, if something happens and I'm, you know, out of town on a Sunday or something, then we don't try to like cram it into another day. Then it's just kind of, you know, you get your stuff, I get my stuff on our own type of thing.
yeah, I think that's healthy. I think that's smart.
All right, this last one is a little repetitive, but we'll do it. Number 15. It's comforting if you've been with someone for a while to do the same 3 tricks in bed that you know they like, but it becomes routine after a while. Throw in a changeup or a curveball. It doesn't have to be outrageous, just something you don't normally do.
They really phoned it in on number 15.
Yeah, I
I feel
know.
like this was covered.
I feel like they really, all of these lists had to be 15, and then they slowed their roll. But it is quotes from men, so.
I really saw the deadline on this one. Like, definitely like, oh man, let's do it 3. Okay. So the same 3 tricks that you've been doing, like, you know, mix it up a little bit.
Oh, then you good.
Yeah, then you good.
Then you gonna make her happy.
Turn that in.
Okay, all right. Well, I think what this one touched on and the other ones weren't is it was like, hey, not even outrageous.
Right.
Just literally a like, whatever, slight position change.
Can I ask you, as the woman,
Okay.
what is a good go-to switch up for like,
Oh, good question.
Go to switch up.
yeah.
Mm.
Wait, but don't look at me like that.
No, I just.
Oh, you mean,
know,
wait, switch up that I would do to a man, or I would like a man to
A
switch
man
up
to
on
do to
me?
you.
Oh, that is a good question.
Because, I mean, all these men's, like, I can't remember what my first one was. I feel like it's very situational. But as a woman, you can speak for all of them.
Okay. I think a lot of times for women, a big switch up is just what is the natural tone of us having sex in terms of like vibe. And I know that's very vague to say, but I'll break it down. Of like the last person I was with was a very sweet and very loving person, and we had very, very intimate sex. Probably the most intimate sex I've ever had. Of like eye contact. We'd go slow.
Hell yeah,
like
Erica.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
I've grown as a
Hell
person, Cheney.
yeah.
Meet me, okay? Okay. However, right, there were a few times that like, and often it would be that like middle of the night sex that randomly happens. Of,
Okay.
Like one of you kind of wakes up, the other one wakes up, and then that sex would suddenly be very like animalistic, aggressive. Like vibe was completely changed.
Okay.
And it just made me like more into them and like even more attracted to them.
Okay.
And it was something of kind of being like, oh shit, this guy can do both.
Okay.
So for me personally, it was very much a vibe shift.
I thought you were going to say like music.
I mean, I could have said that. That really isn't easy. But
Yeah.
but as someone who has a few different playlists,
Right.
not every guy is music around type person in
Oh,
bed.
tell me about it.
Yeah, and it's not even of like the type of music it is. It's just like some people are kind of, that makes them feel more awkward. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you put on merengue, I'm telling you,
But yeah.
it's not going to help me.
Yeah, literally music, very easy switch up.
Got it. Okay.
But again, changes the vibe.
It does.
So essentially, it does co-sign what I just said.
Yeah.
But
no,
that's,
you're right.
I guess that's a personal one for me. It's kind of like, I think a lot of women, it's kind of like, it's nice to have a guy where you go, oh, this guy can be both. He could be aggressive dude, almost like asshole dude, right? Asshole aggressive man, but then also can be this like very kind, sweet eye contact. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
Yeah, that sounds fire, yo. Shout out-
I know. I can't. I'm very bummed it didn't work out. I've been very sad.
Look, shout out to Sweet Guy. You know?
Yeah, whatever. We don't have to get into it.
Is
You know what?
Is he a listener?
I'm sorry.
I don't think he's a listener. I don't think he's listening. It did not work out. But anyway, yeah, I miss him. Anyway. Miss him a lot. All right. Well, thanks for
Yeah.
Fonzie, I'm so sorry we've gone over time, but I have to have Cheney plug something at the very end. I'm very, very sorry.
Thank you. Thank you,
Anyway,
Fonzie.
I know I hate
Hey,
to cut
buddy.
this short. This has
Hey.
been a wonderful time. I'd love to have you both back on sometime.
Oh, yeah, this has been great.
Anyway, real quick, guys, plug your stuff because you're great guys. What do you got going on? I know you have an interesting project that might be a great gift
Right. That's
for
right.
a woman for her man if he's a Pokemon fan.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So this September, this 17th, this is going to come up before that, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because I'm doing it for a long time. September 17th is the 25th anniversary of the 25th episode of the original Pokemon series that when it aired in Japan.
And this is very important to Pokemon fans.
Well, it's
If they're not getting it, very important.
It's the episode where Ash, the main protagonist, explains why his hat is so important to him and how he got it. Which, if anyone knows anything about Pokemon, you know what that fucking hat is.
Or anything about men that like hats.
It's
It's
one
a
of the
thing.
it's one of the most recognizable
thing.
pieces of clothing ever to exist.
It is. I'm not a fan, but I recognize the hat.
Exactly.
I know what it is.
So what I'm doing is because that hat is so important, and it's been made every which way. I mean, I made the hat again, but that's not the important part. What I'm doing is going back to our experience conversations.
Okay.
I'm recreating the experience the same way that Ash got it from the series. So he had to mail in a postcard to the official Pokemon Expo, and they only made 100 of them. And what he did is he mailed 1 million. That was the quote. So I just made a PO box. I made 100 of the hats. I am going to have from September 17th to a year plus a month, so October when it aired in the U.S. I'm just going to take submissions,
Okay.
and then at the end of it, I'm just going to mail the hat out. All for free. I'm just giving it out. I'm just literally recreating the experience of the hat because that hat is so important to not only the anime, but just like that culture in general. Like everybody
Okay.
knows that fucking hat.
Now here's the question.
Yeah.
You want this as a gift for the man? Do you mail this thing to you, or do you tell him about it and he does it?
Either or. It could be a
What
thing.
makes it more special? Nothing makes it more special.
I mean, it could be what's nice and that I'm really noticing is that people they don't know. Everything is so
Okay.
immediate now.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing it for the full year. Things used to take 6 to 8 weeks. Like when we were kids, it felt like fucking years. We never knew. We never knew when shit was happening. So that's what one of the things that I'm recreating is that you don't know experience. So you tell them, or like it will be a fun thing for them to also just get as a surprise. Like there's no,
Okay.
if you're a Pokemon fan, there's no losing here.
Okay. And then where can they find and submit this? Where's all the info?
You can go to officialpokemonexpo.com.
Okay.
You can go to my social media or at Pokemon Expo on Instagram. All
Okay.
that info will be there at not that Cheney, Cheney.
And the info's in the description of the episode as
Yes.
well. I'll put the links
Thank you.
there. And Not That Cheney is your social media. If they want to follow you and fuck with you and come to your show. You run a great monthly show.
Yeah,
I've been on
I
the
have
show.
a monthly show sold out. You guys have both done it.
Yeah, great show.
It's loosely sneaker themed.
Yeah, and NYC show.
Yep, in West Village at the Comedy Shop. And yeah.
And Rob, where can people find you, follow you?
I just started a podcast called The Inconsistent Podcast with Rob Haze. It's everywhere you can find a podcast. I just got my name on Twitter, so now I'm at Rob Haze on everything. Don't send a request for Venmo. I would not give you any money. And I'll be in October. I'll be in Boston. So if you're in Boston, come through the shows in October. All the information at robhaze.com.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sherman Showcase, October 26th.
That's a great show, yeah.
Hell yeah,
Season
dude.
2.
Hell yeah. And then, guys, you can follow us at Shooters Gotta Shoot Pod, as always. And stay tuned for a Patreon preview coming up next. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been awesome.
Thank you for having
See you
me.
next week.
Thanks
Bye.
for having me.
But then I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I naturally attract people that are more shy, quiet, introverted, whatever situation. But I'm also like, yeah, it's something like, yeah, you do. A lot of times you're like, yeah, I do want this fucking masculine energy to come on in here, Like, be masculine enough that I can be the feminine one, And I told her, I was like, such a basic thing of, I was like, every date I feel like every date I go on, like, I'm always the one walking in the front. Like, it's such a weird basic thing. And it's like, it's almost like, no, the man should walk in front and then like opens the door for you to walk through. Like, I understand like walking in the door first is a chivalrous thing, but it's like, God, have like a fucking little sense of direction. You know what I mean? Like, there's no just of the walking around. It's like, take a little fucking lead. And there were moments with the comedian that I was like sitting back being like, come on, man, take the lead. Take the fucking lead. And he was like having an anxiety attack that I was like, all right, well, guess that's not working. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it's hot to have someone else just take a little charge, I'm like, masculine on that front? Yeah. You don't gotta know how to like hunt and kill a bear or whatever the fuck, but just like, if you could just lead the walk a little bit, like fucking, it's always me. Like, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I always feel like I'm leading the thing.
If you want to hear the rest of this episode, join our Patreon, which is patreon.com/shootersgottashoot. For just $5 a month, you can get an extra episode a week of all the behind-the-scenes content, and we'll answer all your questions directly over there. You get the real juice, you get the real scoop, and you get a say in who we have on the show and what we talk about on the show. Patreon.com/shootersgottashoot.